Oh, yeah, this is legit working now. All right. Sorry. Starts it over in 3, 2, 1.
The World of Warcraft podcast, so you don't have to. This is The Instance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Instance. Take 2. That won't make sense to anybody who's listening after the fact. But hi, welcome back, everybody. It's episode 560 of this podcast. And I'm joined today by Terpster, all the way from lovely Bristol, England. Welcome.
Oh, it's so sunny today.
Is it?
I don't know. I've not been outside.
But
it probably is.
Why don't you go out? You should go outside more. Go outside.
I know I should. But, WoW Classic.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
How deep are you?
It's
in there.
Wow, it's like someone said, "Hey man, do you remember the cocaine they had like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
That was good cocaine, wasn't it?" And you're like, "Oh man, that was good cocaine. That was."
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Do you want some more?" And it's like, "Oh man, I shouldn't really. I got a family now. I got a job."
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
here I am nonetheless.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. It's yeah.
Are you?
I mean, 8.2 will bring me back.
Yeah.
But 8.2 ain't here yet.
Yeah, 8.2's
so,
not here.
You know, that seems to be. I wanted to get that tattooed on my inner thigh.
Yeah.
Just why has it been so long?
Yeah.
Why has it been so long?
It's really weird.
This week is officially the week where I go, it's been too long for 8.2.
Yeah. I feel like maybe the part of the problem is they're busy making Classic happen, you know? So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. It's different. I know
Maybe.
Different people, different teams. But...
but it's the same team, I think, in terms of like it's a different part of the team, but it's still Team 2.
Yeah.
Like Ian Hazakostas, I believe, is still game director over WoW Classic as much as he is for World of Warcraft.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they had somebody else in charge of that
It all
stuff.
comes under his remit, his pervasion.
His perversion, right? His perversion.
Yeah, exactly. Which is interesting because he said, very much like we will not make new content for Classic. Like we will make the old content we had.
Yeah.
In an interview, because I think Brian Birmingham was, kind of probably speaking more on the company lines of don't shoot anything down. Where it's like, oh, well, we'll see what the response is, see how people feel.
Sure.
And I got all excited. I was like, oh my God, could we have like a new 40-man raid? That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Well, Ian's still the boss.
Also, I should make a formal welcome here to Garrett Windsor, all the way from Florida. Garrett, good morning.
Yeah, lovely Bradenton, Florida. A phrase no one has ever said.
No, ever in their lives. Hey, what's great though is
what's the weather like in Florida?
Sticky.
Hot. Imagine what it would be like to be really like maybe nestled in like a dragon's balls. That's what it feels like to be in Florida right now.
Oh, I can't wait until we were time walking through Dragon's Balls. That was a great.
Constantly just wet. You walk outside and you're just instantly sweaty.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like Florida to me. The times I've been there, that's the only state I knew, state of being, I should say, was nice, hot, and muggy. But we, plenty to talk about around World of Warcraft, certainly in Classic. We're going to get to all that in a second. But Garrett, I just wanted to point out that you made a comment on the show last week that ended up being an immortalized Post-it note from Lance at Blizzard, Lance Blizz Gamer on Twitter. I think that's the same name he has on Instagram. But he does these Post-it notes. And,
is he the coffee Post-it note guy?
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Lance is rad. And
cool.
He says that this was inspired by a comment Garrett made. Oh, I was going to put this up for the chat to read. Let me do that real fast. Okay. Anyway, you were comparing Classic to the idea that it's like the old way that took forever to do anything and everything was manual. So he has depicted a Alex Straza based Alexa unit here where you would say, Alex Straza, may I have, and then, this would just do the thing you want. Whereas Classic, you got to crank it. You got to, it's hard because look at that cranky face. Like he went all nuts on this. It's good. So well done, Garrett. You inspired Lance.
Yeah, he didn't go with the stick shift versus automatic transmission. He went for the easy MP3 playing versus a record player. Actually, he went straight up phonograph, which
he did. That's hardcore.
Mad respect.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, do you see that? Yeah, it's pretty good. Choose your tune. That reminds me, actually, this is a good question. I noticed our friend Pat put out a tweet that had a what do you call it when you do a poll? It's a poll. That's what it's called.
All right.
And they put out this poll, and the poll was like, "What are you going to call WoW Classic?" Or if you know what you're going to call WoW Classic, what are you going to call WoW Prime? And is that a word for WoW? Should that be what we call it, or do we just call it World of Warcraft? And so when we're in a conversation saying, "Yeah, I've been playing WoW," does that mean that the other person should just say, "Oh, well, that means he's playing modern, up-to-date WoW and not this classic business"? Or do we need a name to apply as a community to WoW Prime?
I guess, but at the same time, it's like, because if you say you've been playing World of Warcraft, that already feels really broad. Like, what have you been playing, though?
Yeah.
Have you been raiding?
Yeah, it's like, are you raiding? Are you
questing?
PvPing? Are you really into pet battles?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like already you have, you would want to inquire further. You'd say, oh, World of Warcraft. I've heard of that game. That sounds interesting. What are you up to in World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
But if we want to just have because the thing is like Blizzard tried to at one point, I think, make vanilla. They tried to push brown box because it shipped in a brown box in terms of a way to kind of, because they didn't like vanilla, because they were like, oh, vanilla's plain. It's, no one gets excited about vanilla. And I'm like, well, man, I get very excited about vanilla. Someone says I made pancakes. I'm like, I'm in. And they say, with a bit of vanilla on as well. I'm like, oh, oof. Like that's dream come true right there.
Yeah.
But do we want to call WoW Prime? WoW Prime to me sounds like an Amazon product.
Yeah, it does. It's like a service. It sounds like another service on top of,
like Warcraft Prime, where you can instantly get a level 120.
I mean, I've always been down with the abbreviation for whatever the current expansion is. So saying I'm playing BFA versus I'm playing Classic is fine. But man, whatever. Have a conversation. Dig a little deeper. Be humans. Make some friends.
Sure.
Just be for a classic. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like Beefer. I mean, it is a terrible one, isn't it? Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah, Beefer.
It's like it's got levels, and they're like, no, because we're fighting for control of Azeroth, but we're also fighting for Azeroth. We're trying to save Azeroth from N'Zoth. So it's like we're battling for, and we're battling for, and it's like you kind of feel like, put the joint down, let's take a step back, and can we call it something cooler, or something that doesn't abbreviate to Beefer?
All right.
There needs to be, but anyway, it's too late now.
That's why I like
I don't know what the
Legion.
next one will be called.
That's why I like Legion, because Legion was like a word and it didn't need to be shortened, and nobody said
Legion was
Liege.
great. Exactly. No one said I'm playing WoW L.
Yeah.
Or I'm playing L.
Yeah, you're playing Legion.
They should have learned from that.
Yeah.
And this one should have been called like Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Or something. Maybe that's too long. Too many syllables. But still.
There's too many syllables, and then I just think of a stupid costume Oscar Isaac. That's what I think of.
Oh,
true.
Of course you do. Yeah, why not?
But then again,
yeah.
I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. So yeah.
I mean, it's the WoW concept album we always didn't ask for.
Yeah.
It's the one we thought we'd never
That's what
get.
you want. You want it to be like Dark Side of the Moon. That could be good. Dark Side of a Loon. Oh, hang on. What's she up to?
What?
I mean,
exactly.
That's essentially, that's in a nutshell what's been going on with the Night Elves, this expansion. It is the
Dark
Side
Warrior of a Loon.
Yeah.
I am a Loon's Wrath.
I like it. I don't have any idea where they're going to lead for the next one, but I do wish they would learn from that one naming convention. I just think it works better. If it were me, I would say, go for that again. They've only done it the one time. Yeah.
Well, was it called Warcraft Wars of the Past?
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
Are you playing what?
Yeah, I can see why that was maybe off the table. Sorry, Garrett. What were you saying?
I was gonna say no one said Whatlick. A lot of us just said, "Yeah, we're playing Lich King." We just said Lich King.
Yeah, or Wrath.
Yeah, Wrath.
Or Wrath.
Yeah.
People would say Wrath. People would say Mists instead of Mists of Pandaria. Or even
Cataclysm
Pandarium.
was great because we all just said Cata.
Cata, yeah, because that has too many.
That was about the only thing that was great about Cataclysm, but
Yeah.
So it looks like the limit is 1 or at maximum 2 syllables. Legion is where you want to be, or even a single syllable. If you had to do a single syllable expansion, what would you call it? Warcraft.
Stories. That's 2 syllables.
1 syllable story.
I can't
One
think.
syllable. What could we do? I'm trying to think what the expansion would be. I feel like it's got to be like the return of the dragon flights because the dragons are the coolest bit.
Because everything's
Warcraft
doing this right
Drake.
and everyone thinks it's an album.
Yeah, Warcraft
Yeah.
Drake, and you could just keep looking at them while you're trying to watch basketball, but really they just want to show Drake at the sidelines. How about that?
Yeah.
now. World of Warcraft Rise.
Rise.
Oh, Rise.
Rise isn't
I
bad.
like
See,
that.
but you have a font problem, and the graphics department there at Blizzard knows what I'm talking about, and so will you, Garrett. Like that's a tiny little word.
There's no amount of kerning in the world that makes that work.
No, it won't look like kerning. You could kern it to hell and back, and it would end up just looking like an acronym.
That's too many syllables.
Right.
Yeah.
Origins is three. Chat room saying origins. That's 3 syllables. That's off the. We're trying to go. Wow, time sync. There you go.
That'd be good.
That's still 2 syllables. Ooh, Lich. Yeah, just Lich.
Oh, Lich is cool.
Oh, that could be good.
Still a
Lich.
kerning problem, but Lich. That's cool. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, any 1-syllable word is going to have a kerning issue.
That's true, no matter what. So we don't want to give that department any hard work to do. Instead, we're going to dive right into this. Let's talk about Classic. Now, look, part of my problem is World of Warcraft came out when I was, 33. So, Garrett, you're what, 35, 34? 30, what are you? 32.
32.
All right, 32. You are even a year younger than I was when actual Classic WoW launched. I was 31 and 2 when I was playing the alpha and the beta toward that time. I think so, 32 or so. Now,
I was 17, and I didn't want to pay monthly, so I waited until I was 18 to start playing.
there you go. So you were
A life hack for you there.
right. I don't want to pay for it. Yeah, I don't want to pay for it. I'll
so
wait
I
till I'm 18.
I played Guild Wars. That's
Okay.
what I did.
All right. Guild Wars had its moments. There's nothing wrong with Guild Wars.
It
All
was
right.
kind of a janky-ass game, but sure.
It was, but I have some fond feelings for the first one. I also think the second one's all right, but anyway.
The second one's incredible.
Yeah, the second one's pretty good. It's a pretty good
It's a good game.
WoW-like, which doesn't set itself apart enough, I think, in some ways. But anyway, we don't have to get into that. Terpster, you'd have been a little younger. No, you've been a little older. You'd have been what, like
No, I was younger. I'm 31.
31. That's right.
I'll be
So
32 in September.
All right.
So I was, what was I? 15.
15.
When I started playing. Yeah.
Now, keep this in mind. When I was 15, that was the year that Back to the Future came out. Okay, so that just give you a little.
That's a nice perspective
Yeah.
there. Hang on a second, Doc. What?
You mean that
Yeah.
movie that I never saw in
Yeah.
theaters because it was just always around by the time I had long-term memory?
Yeah, basically, it just existed in the
I like
pantheon
it.
of nerd movies that would never go away. And so my point is, I got into it late because that's when it happened. That's how old I was. That's the way it was. So, being at that age, I think because I dove in, loved it, was already a giant Blizzard fan, had played everything else up until that point, including like really old stuff, Lost Vikings and Rock and Roll Racing and all that stuff. Had followed those guys ever since.
Blackthorn. I was world champion Blackthorn player.
I think what's happened is because the game inspired me to then make this podcast all those years ago in early 06 and then have pounded away on it every day since, it's like there has been this game in my life in that form or one form or another every day for all of those years. And I started consuming it as already an adult. And I think that makes a difference in terms of my juxtaposition with Classic. Because every time I poke my head in to mess around, it makes me want to go play something else. And I think that's a me problem. I'm going to just say that again. And I know I brought it up on the show a few times about how it's just not grabbing me. But it's just like, oh, yeah, I did this in 04. And I did it a lot in 03 and had it got wiped and then had to do it again in 04.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like asking me to do it now in beta and then do it again at launch is probably a bit too much. I do plan on doing it at launch because then it's, permanent. I got an account there. That's like, a much more, less ethereal way to play the game. But I wish I was 15 or 17 when this was the thing. Because I think I would look at it differently in the same way I would look at, when I was 15, the rage was Super Mario Brothers. And so I have a fond feeling for that game and can pick it up and play it anytime, even though, I don't know, probably some people have the same reaction to it. Like, oh, whatever, that's old and janky. I'd rather play the new thing. I think there's a part of that that's happening with a lot of people that I know that are loving this. They're in their 30s now. but they would have been teens and all up in it when it happened. Do you guys think there's any, like, I guess what I'm trying to do is reconcile my own feelings here, but do you think that's part of my problem?
I think what you hit the nail on the head there is that it is a temporary alpha beta stress test thing. Like, genuinely, it's a very involved experience, and it's like, do you really want to do this again? It's like, no, I'll wait till it comes out and then I'll play it. Like, you've had your beta experience, you've done it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to play now past just, it's fun. You can kind of try it out and see, like, oh yeah, I think this will be really good.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just lucky that enough people that I like and know are playing it, so I can have those social experiences now.
Right.
But I wouldn't play it now if there weren't other people to play with, that I was socially entangled with. I just don't. I don't think it's a game that works as an isolated experience. Current WoW is. WoW is built around, well, you just go out and quest. You can do everything by yourself. All the classes are pretty robust. They can all do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Classic's very much like, oh, you want to do this thing? You need to go and find like one guy who's managed to train this thing up to this level, who can also has the reagent that only drops from this other dude over there. Everything feels massive and epic in any task, which then can be a bit much sometimes. And that's why the current game has moved where it is. Yeah. But I completely agree that you don't have to be playing this game now to actually enjoy the process of playing WoW Classic when it actually comes out.
Well, what was funny about that though is I thought, well, all right, well, let's go play. I dabbled and I'm like, okay, I just cannot get in the mood here. So I'll hop over to WoW modern WoW, regular WoW, BFA WoW, BIFA as you call it, and same problem. I was like, you know what? There's nothing I really feel like doing right now in here. So I went and played ESO Elsewhere. That's literally the name of the expansion, not me playing it elsewhere. But I went and played that for a while and killed some dragons, and that was fun. So I think I might actually just be in a bit of a.
I think, like I said, as we opened, like 8.2, I genuinely thought we would have had it before now.
Yeah.
And I get we got a raid, we got 2 new playable races. Stuff has been added to the game in the Gulf.
Yeah.
But holy moly, do I want something new?
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like going to Najatar, seeing having a new whole area to go to, new factions, new quests, new everything. I'm excited about that. As well as obviously any quality of life stuff that comes around some of the other bits.
Right. Well, you guys have been much more. I'm like Garrett. You've been way more classic, into it than I have, certainly. So tell me about your time.
I haven't even gotten into the damn beta yet,
Right.
but I did get to play in the stress test, which I'll say, if you didn't get in Wednesday night, Scott, I do feel you missed out a little bit, because if you are of the mind where it's like, I don't want to play a lot of this because it's a beta and it's impermanent, on top of your feelings, which are already kind of standoffish.
Right.
The stress test was fun, man. It's so fun to see that many freaking people in these starting zones that and it's layered. Like, there's a part of me I'm like, I want layering. Like, they need it when it launches. It would brick otherwise. But for these stress tests, please get rid of it. I want to see even more people. I just want to see a sea of people in these freaking starting zones. Did they spawn
anything crazy for you?
Yeah.
No, I sadly didn't get in during the actual 2-hour window. I had to take the car to a garage and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So I got back right as they reset the realm. So I got in and just did regular experience. I went and rolled the Night Elf, because that's the first tune I ever played.
That's what you do when you play WoW.
Yep.
Yeah. And even then, it was full, man. It was freaking full. There were so many people running around Aldersil, and it was so cool, man. And I it's really easy, I think, to have that experience to be like, oh man, this is why I don't like this anymore. I'm having to wait 10 minutes for a Grell to spawn in this stupid camp so I can kill it and get my Felmoths. But I'm going there being like, man, I'm not going to have this experience in current WoW. It's just not that. You don't have the surge of population unless you play on day one of a new expansion. And to me, it's part of the fun. It's part of what builds memories in a game like this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. How does it perform for you? Like, did you feel like things got bogged down? layering or not, did it feel like your machine was having a hard time keeping up with all those bodies on screen? Or
Well, I did just get a brand new doghouse, Scott, so no.
Okay, then it was fine.
Not at all.
100% fine then.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it wasn't so much in 04. I remember launch, and I remember a billion people in Orgrimmar, and I remember wanting to die. So,
dude, I mean,
even later on, like with Anchorage, like just just everything blew up all the time.
It was bad.
But
yeah, I mean, I never achieved 60 frames a second in OG World of Warcraft. I did not. I was playing on a Toshiba satellite. Like if I had 24 frames a second, I was happy. Like that was a good day.
Yeah.
So on top of the fact that you can crank the graphics so much further in quality than you used to be able to, like you talked about it last week, Turf, just our hardware. It's absurd now. Like the game just like it's that thing. I've been thinking about it a bit. Is just like, because I think a lot of us, when we think about old games that mean a lot to us, we kind of up-res them in our head. And the funny thing about Classic WoW and having the better options is it kind of, I think, looks more like our memory of WoW
than it actually was.
It actually looked like.
Yeah.
I think that's why they left it there. I think that's why they allowed people like, hey, do you want to have a load of extra foliage on the ground? Because actually, back then, you had to do it via console command.
Yeah.
And even then, it would have bricked a supercomputer. But they're like, you know what? Technology's moved on. Let's allow people to, make the game look a bit more prettier whilst still being faithful to what was in the game and possible with the game.
Yeah, which brings me back around to please just give me the new models for the characters, because if I can already have like better water and more foliage, like, well, just let me opt into it, not that.
It ruins it. I genuinely do. I was showing my wife the game, and then loading up Battle for Azeroth, and I was just showing her. I was in the brewery inn right outside Dunmoreau, and I was just showing her there's a cheese slice, a wedge of cheese on a table that is 5 polygons, and then I went into Borealis and found a wedge of cheese, because that's still all that's on tables.
Yeah.
And it had like notches cut out of it. And it was all like, I was like, holy crap, there's probably more polygons and information on this cheese in the new game than the entire table in the old one.
Yeah.
But it all fits. It all feels cohesive. And it's the same with the on both sides. I think keeping them feeling like they are, they are their own experiences. I do. My biggest question is what they're going to call the servers. Like, they're going to have new servers. They've said that. They're going to have new names because, the existing, Earthen Ring is still working.
Right.
But they have to be named things from the classic era. You can't have, like, a Urel or, like new characters or new things.
Why can't it be like
anything that happens post-classic can't be a name?
Just do like Mancrick's wife and
But that's exactly.
Well,
so is that
that's
it?
the thing? Yeah, it's got
Mancrick's wife.
Well, because when WoW launched, they named the servers after things we would already have known of. So it was a lot of like Warcraft 3 notable names and stuff. But there's now so many things that are like infamous at this point from classic WoW. I think they have a lot more names that they can pull from. Like, do we have a Hygen? Is Hygen a server? I don't think so.
No, you could do that.
Make Hygen a server,
or do this. Just put.
Do we have a Bolvar?
No. There's no Bolvar server. That'd be cool. But he doesn't. He mattered. Well, yeah. Well, he still was around, but he didn't matter.
I'm trying to pull up a. I'm trying to pull up. Okay. Fandom has apparently a server list. So there's no Bolvar.
Oh, really?
There's no Bolvar.
Oh, right. I thought they had the new one. I was like, wow.
Oh no, not the new one. I'm just cross-referencing with just random things we're throwing out there. There's no Hygen. I mean, yeah, God, we need a Leroy Jenkins. You're absolutely right, Jedi71 in the chat room.
Why couldn't it just be Earthen Ring Classic instead of Earthen Ring? Like, why couldn't they denote them that way? And then people would get all nostalgic about their starting servers.
We miss out on some great speculation about what they're going to name the servers, Scott.
Okay,
that's not fun. And it also kind of ties into that conversation we had at the top, which is like when you ask what server are you on, you may instantly, if you say Earthen Ring, you're like, well, wait, Earthen Ring.
Classic
OG or Earth of the Ring
yeah,
Classic?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
yeah.
wait, what if they had? What if they did it based on famous big names of the company that are no longer there? The Morheim server, the Metzen server, the Ghostcrawler server. Like you could do that. That'd be cool, right?
But then, are they from Classic? Are they related to Classic?
No.
You know, like Ghostcrawler didn't join during Classic.
No, you got
Yeah.
the early Wrath or whatever.
They
it was.
name it Kaplan's Beard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, Kaplan was there. The Green Hills of Stranglethorn. This is one of his.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You know,
Red shirt guy of the server.
Yeah,
yeah.
nice one,
I
Jeff.
just think it'd be really interesting to see kind of, you know, what they get called, and if that, you know, will we see people go to servers based on the name, or will they just randomly kind of get big because X guild is on this realm?
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
idea that, you know, I think Mancrick's wife would be an amazing one.
Right.
Because then everyone would be like, "Hey, where's Mancrick's wife?" You got to log out and you got to change server.
Yeah. I'd be fine with that. A Hogger server would be cool. Do like
Hogger has to be a server.
yeah, why not? There's not now. There's no way he's one now, is he?
Stitches. He's that
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Stitches.
jerkwad in.
Yeah.
He's yeah.
in Dustwood. Yeah,
Stitches. You could do let's see. Quillbore. I'm trying to think of things that are.
Are you just looking at things and saying that you should name her a
No,
server
I'm
now?
just making it up in my
I
head.
love Quillbore.
I'm trying to think of the things I saw early on in the Barrens, which is where I would totally start again.
Yeah.
An ASMR server? No. let's not do that.
I have to start a night elf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I feel like I have to start an orc. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
required to. But at the same time, like I said, I'm just kind of in this weird boat. But I also think I got my peaks and my valleys. Right now I'm in a valley. I'll get back to my peak.
Yeah.
Probably 8-2
Well, I
is my peak.
started a warlock recently just because I wanted to kind of be a DPS class that kind of didn't have to do too much.
Yeah.
You wanted
Obviously, I
the
have to farm
easiest
some
classic
soul
experience you could possibly opt into. That's what you
I'm
wanted
thinking
as a
about,
warlock.
like, because I played as a warrior. Like I was you know, tanking and had to be, you know, had to farm gear, had to do all these things. I'm like, I don't know if I got the time for that.
Yeah.
But I still
God,
like
that
to
is such a
join
polar
people.
opposite experience. Like leveling
Yeah,
a warrior
so-
versus leveling a warlock.
Yeah. It's just lovely, just, you know, tap tap tap, away you go. But even then,
Well,
the
and you
quicker
get
plays
you get a
level
free mount, man.
is
Like it's
in-
like
in
on
a
top
pair.
of.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing. I was looking at Paladin. You know, I was thinking, oh, that could be useful. You save yourself a lot of time and money.
Yeah.
You know, it's good.
Yeah, but the leveling. My God, you remember the Crusader Strike didn't exist.
Nope.
Like it wasn't an ability. Like paladins just had to auto attack, and you've got auras and other
Yeah.
passive buffs. It's like, okay, cool. I guess I'm just going to white
Great
damage
healers
things to
though.
death.
If you go holy, you crit yourself, you crit your pants, and you get all your mana back. So you can just heal forever, heal for days and days and days. You know, I got a lot of time for a paladin healer.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Chat room's asking if add-ons are still allowed. I think so, but I don't think there are any yet. Or if there are, I don't know about
But yeah,
it.
there are a couple. I was using Questy. Yeah, I remember last week I said I wasn't going to do any add-on, and then then like I used one, and it's like, oh, this is actually a lot easier.
Of course it is.
Open.
See, this
I
is
used
what
WoW
happens.
Classic to tell me where the butthole night elf outside of the cave in Aldrassil was, because they're like, I'm like, I'm gonna read the quest text. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna find out where this guy is because I don't remember. And dude's like a mile away to the west from the freaking cave. So I was like, finally cave. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to Wowhead Classic and finding out where this butthole is.
Yeah, but at least you've got that, I guess. I don't know. Like, this is where I start to get not frustrated, but this is where I start to kind of go, well, isn't the idea... The reason that all of these quality of life improvements happened over the years is because we were actually complaining about a lot of that stuff back then, or we were using mods to sort of mitigate that, and then Blizzard would put it into the game. We're like, oh, sweet, quests are way like
It's so
they're like
ubiquitous.
quest
We've
helper.
had to put it into the game. Yeah.
And then eventually
but
we just get
it's
around to
part-
going,
whatever,
well, this
man.
isn't like classic anymore. We got to go back to the old days. It's like, it's a weird cycle, man.
But it's I mean, that was part of the classic experience. We went and got add-ons. Like,
Yeah, I guess so. I need to have a better perspective on that, because you're right. Like, the experience was, here's a cool thing I found that makes life easier. Like, that was part of the experience. And just because Blizzard integrates it now doesn't take away the value or the nostalgia of the moment that you found, I don't know, deadly boss mobs for the first time. Like, that was a big deal. It was a huge deal. And so I totally get it.
And it's still, yeah, there's still so much that an add-on can't mitigate, right? Like how difficult it is to level a paladin or a warrior because they're just so low damage and low self-healing unless you're going holy as a pally. I mean, there's no amount of add-ons in the world that can help you with that.
I think warriors are the slowest class to level just because the downtime of not being able to heal yourself without food or bandages, and that really does take its toll. But if you level with a priest, all good. You just need a friend.
Yeah.
And that is what Warcraft Classic is all about.
It's all about your friends and a whole bunch of people you don't know.
I hope that they're happy playing a healer.
But a reminder that yes, it's good to have a friend if you're rolling with them, doing worlds or doing quests and stuff. You're gonna have a better time or a faster time or whatever. But
could warlocks pass out healthstones in vanilla?
Yes.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
Pretty sure you could
conjure them, but could you give them to other players?
Pretty sure you could.
Maybe you could.
I'm pretty sure you had to like straight up trade them. There was definitely not like a soul well. That wasn't a thing.
No, that didn't exist yet. Yeah, they could hand them out.
I am looking forward to like summoning people off the edge of cliffs. Doing all the warlock trolly things.
Oh yeah, that stuff.
I think it'd be worthwhile.
That stuff will all be in effect.
Warlocks couldn't summon in vanilla, could they?
Yeah. They had the. They didn't have the closet.
You didn't have the dude.
Oh, it was a portal. It wasn't a closet. You're right.
Yeah. Didn't have the dude exposing himself. I love that one.
You like that one? I don't know.
Creepy guy in the park. Hey, kids.
Yeah, come here, look at this.
And then it's like, everyone click on him. Don't click that bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you needed 3 warlocks to summon, right?
Well, then you got the other stuff, like you've got the Ritual of Doom. So to summon a Doom Guard, you need your party, and one of you dies. And then the Doom Guard's enslaved for a duration, but after that wears off, they're a hostile mob running around that you have to deal with.
Yeah, you gotta fight them.
But then you do that in Orgrimmar or Stormwind. You go to the Lobby zones. Obviously these all require expensive reagents, and so you can't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Infernals, all the rest. The Infernals, summon it down quick. Enslave it quick, come on guys. Oh no, it's killing us. It's those are the things I'm looking forward to.
You know what,
that was such cool flavor.
The more you talk about that stuff, the more I like that stuff. Like I love the flavor of it. The flavor of all of that stuff was great. They were willing to go these weird extra miles to do stuff that just wasn't ever done in these games. Nobody was doing this kind of stuff up to that point. And part of me wants to understand why so much of it is removed. Like I understand the idea of like when they got rid of arrows and me having to carry him around as a hunter. That was a good move. Thank you very much. But feeding my pet and giving him crit food so that he was more powerful when he was well fed, that sort of thing, I miss that stuff. Like that was an extra layer of management that was, I thought, fun. It didn't take away from the fun. The arrow bit was not fun. Because in the middle of a raid, we're like, shit, Scott's out of arrows. I guess he'll whack away with an axe, which does nothing. All right, well, after this wipe, we'll figure out a way to get him back to town.
Yeah,
it'll be a long
downtime exactly. Heart's back, and you got to summon him back. Oh, hang on, the warlock's out of shards. He's going to go farm some shards. Okay, guys, everyone out. We're going to kill some trash outside and hope we can summon him back. You get all of those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I feel like
it is fine.
The class fantasy is very strong in Classic, and it's something they've strive for in the current game to try and enrich and enhance the class fantasy. But actually, you kind of see all of these guys sell the flavor of who and what they are really effectively in Classic. Arcane Mage doesn't really exist. The Arcane Tree is like a weird utility thing that it doesn't really change your playstyle. But holy moly, conjuring up fireballs and frostbolts still feel good as a mage. It still feels good. Summoning, when you first conjure water, you cast a spell and you get 2. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Let me just do an arm. Okay, hang on. It's like a lot of it. It feels like ice skating uphill sometimes because that's kind of how you build satisfaction in games.
Yeah,
you make things hard, and then later they are easier. And thusly, you feel like you've achieved, you progressed.
Well, that's why Legion was so strong.
The class hurt WoW a lot in the class fantasy,
right?
When it was like, okay, both sides get paladins and shamans. That allows us to balance. Okay, now we need to make it so you don't have to have a hunter to trank shot. We're going to make it this way. You don't have to have this specific healer for this fight, or we're going to make it so all of the tank classes can effectively tank. Like prop paladins aren't great AoE tanks in Classic, maybe in a dungeon, maybe, but often if you overpull, you die. Or you can't really hold aggro because they don't have a taunt. But now they do, and so they add these additional utilities so that it kind of doesn't really matter you're a tank or you're a DPS or you're a healer.
Yeah.
Whereas in Classic, it feels very much like, okay, no, you are a warrior tank. You are the only real tank. Or you're a druid. That's cool. Feral's pretty good up until the end, and then it's not really.
Yeah.
You could be a healer in PvP, but really, if you're doing arenas, you're a rogue, you're a mage, and a priest, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
And people know that, so people will be rolling if they want to do arenas, a rogue, a mage, or a priest, and that will be the game they play. And they won't be trying and segue like, oh well, it took me forever to level up this hunter. I'm going to see if I can be competitive, in the arena. Nah.
When did Battlegrounds and Arenas launch? Because it was well into the game's history.
Yeah, it was like 110, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. So that stuff's not going to happen
the
at
honor
launch.
system, I don't believe the honor system's in phase 1.
Yeah.
I don't think
No, they did just do Warsong testing, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought
I don't
none
think we
of
get
this.
our ranks straight away, but maybe we do.
I thought none of this was getting even touched until
last week. They started Warsong testing.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. They're in the classic beta now.
Well, that's not very classic, is it? That doesn't seem to adhere to the freaking raw dog video game.
It's the weird thing.
Testing it, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, because Arcanite Reaper, for example, was a legendary axe.
Yeah.
But if you can do Outrat Valley and get the Unstoppable Force, you don't waste the time trying to get Arcanite Reaper. Unstoppable Force is just way better.
Right.
So it would just be interesting to see, because that's why Diamall isn't available in phase 1, because Diamall as a leveling experience gives you better gear than some of the at launch 60 dungeons, or equivalent level dungeons.
Yeah.
So they have gated stuff and held stuff back to be more in line with when they did stuff. So who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure people do know. We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. Blizzard knows, probably. Somebody there. They've added some more stuff, speaking of things that are not a bug in the game that we are all wondering about. Like, for example, I was wondering earlier if you could... How did we repair? Was there were no repair bots or mounts that could repair back then, right? We had to go back to town.
You just talk to merchants that have, the anvil when you hover over.
Right, but I mean in a raid.
In a raid, you said.
Yeah,
No,
you
everyone had to half back and then...
Yeah, you were just boned.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
I hated that.
on my warrior, I had jumper cables. I was an engineer, because it was one of those things where actually after a kind of near wipe, I might be able to go and res someone, and then we can start the process of getting people going again.
Yeah.
But even then, sometimes they just don't work.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, sweet.
Flip a coin.
Yeah. Oh, there was an advanced engineer repair bot, but I think that was later, Rusty Nails, in the chat, I think.
I don't question our chat room. They tend to be right.
Yeah, they actually do. They're smart.
Maybe it was a consumable. Like, it's not like Jeeves that you can just use time and time again.
Yeah.
I didn't get up to that point until BC on my hunter as an engineer, but yeah, the first repair bot I remember they had to keep stacks of them because they consumed every time you used one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Jeeves was Wrath, wasn't he?
Was it Wrath? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Jeeves was Wrath, and I still don't think I ever made my damn Jeeves. I think I still have like BC freaking repair bots in my bank.
Oh, dude, I have some shit in the bank that is ridiculous. In fact, that's my version of Classic.
Looks like repair bots did exist in vanilla.
Oh, all right.
Yep. They took 16 thorium bars to make them.
Right, and they were consumable, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
and 2 fused wirings, but the thorium bar. Oh
yeah, you would eat them. Not eat them, but they would disappear and you were done, and you had to build another one if you wanted to do it. Whew, rough stuff, that stuff.
Yep. Yes, Field Repair Bot 74A. Recipe can be found in Blackrock Depths.
Yeah. Yeah, that
great
makes sense.
Thank you, Internet.
So here are some additional things that they've added to that list. I love some of these. You are unable to polymorph enemy targets that are tapped by players with whom you are not grouped. So that was a thing. At all levels of player characters and enemies, aggro radius is set to the intended distance. I guess some people have been saying that felt wrong. Long quest objectives don't have text wrapping. All right. I don't know what that means.
I
text
do not
wrapping.
remember this being a thing,
I
but
don't
good
either.
to know.
Long quest objectives don't have text wrapping.
Oh, so they just truncate. So you
They just
get,
run off the
go off the edge of the screen.
Oh.
Read it all.
Okay. Is there an option in the options right now in Classic? I keep meaning to change it and I keep forgetting, but the slow write out of the quest text?
Yeah. Fast quest text or instant quest text is totally a
text.
checkbox that exists. Yeah.
I just need to freaking do it. Yeah.
You have to do that. Yeah.
I have an unpopular opinion though, Scott, because if you're trying to play this without add-ons, you have to read it anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe just keep that on.
I like to think I'm faster than the slow. That's the thing. I feel like as much as I'm not taking it in, I'm reading enough of it to be like 12 ball livers. All right, sweet. Let's go find some.
Well,
balls.
for those of us
and
who
then
are
after
functional,
killing 20, I'm like, oh, hang on, no, deliver 12 boars. Okay, sorry, I've killed them all. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's quill boars again. It says wanted signs, broadcast text can be seen multiple times if multiple players interact with the same NPC. So that's the thing. Fall damage is equivalent to expected and verified values. Some people, I guess, were getting hurt and going, hey, wait a minute. Wanted signs do not have the question or the exclamation point over them, so they're not highlighted. You'd have to go to those and say, "Oh, here's a wanted sign. I wonder if that's a thing."
super.
Someone had to share the quest after we killed him. I was like, oh no, I didn't know we could get the quest yet. I thought it was at the end of a chain. It's like, no.
Yeah, it's super hard to see these things.
Sharing of quests is so cool, though. Like, again, it's easy to look at all this stuff and go, "Oh, look how hard it used to be," but it's also important to look how easy it was compared to the competition. Like Blizzard was breaking new ground in ease of use for their game. A lot of these features and functionality just weren't in other games, and so they were already fast tracking a lot of the experience. It's just that that's a relative, comparison. If you're comparing WoW to old WoW now, it's night and day, which I guess is why people want it. Player characters do not animate when looting or interacting with quest objects, i.e. collecting pumpkins. They just stand there.
They just take a knee. I was doing the mushroom quest in Eldrasil, and they just kneel.
Yeah,
That's it.
They don't go. Or whatever with their hands.
Do the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, that's
one side.
the humans are my favorite because they freaking listen to it. They're just like,
yeah. I love
what
that.
are you doing? What in your life have you ever created by listening to it while you mess with your hands?
Yeah. And here's my favorite because this gets a hallelujah for me. Gnomes and Taurens are the correct size. Thank you.
Yeah.
Keep them right where they're at. Let's not dick around with that too much.
What it should say is, yes, Taurens will get hung up on every door that you try and enter. Yeah.
It's so true, dude. I always wanted to play a Tauren. I could never get past their feet. I'm still that way, even with their modern stuff.
Yeah, but you see a cow with normal feet, it looks weird, man.
Yeah, I don't like it. They're too big.
But
Big, goofy
even then,
feet.
like in Legion, we started to get our first kind of hoof boots with that extra sort of geometry on.
Yep.
And they started, I was like, sweet, man, it's looking good.
And they started doing that with the trolls as well. Trolls started having closed feet.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they started trying to put like little plates
They still
on.
open toe? I don't know how they do
They're
it.
open toe,
Open toe
so
on
yeah, I think so.
trolls.
Most of them.
All right.
Which we've had this discussion. There's that one piece of Glen Rain art of a Death Knight troll where the boots are closed and it looks amazing, and I want it in game.
Oh, wow. All right. That's a hard call from Garrett today, everybody. Check it out.
This
All right.
was months ago on the show when I mentioned it, so I'll mention it again. Make closed-toed boots happen for trolls, please.
I'm in. Now,
Interface option.
for those at home going, man, sure a lot of classic discussion. How about this? 8.2 coming soon. Should be here already, but whatever. It's coming soon. Hunters, with our non-mana, non-arrow carrying, plenty, pets are all well-fed all the time. Hunters can tame Horadon and Undasta. Am I saying Undasta? Who are they were bosses in Mists of Pandaria. In what's that island called? Thunder Island or
The Timeless Isle.
Timeless Isles? what I
Isle of
meant.
Thunder.
Isle of Thunder. That's
Oh,
what
the
I
Isle
meant.
of Thunder.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, of course. Sorry,
But
yeah.
they're
So all the
cool.
dinosaurs.
They're basically dinosaurs, and one's like a giant. Well, they look a lot like the stuff you'd see in Zandalar, to be honest. But they're now tameable pets, or they will be. So get excited, hunters! I just wanted to give the 8.2 people something today because there's not a lot of news on that front. There's nothing happening over there.
Mechanong's still coming, guys. He's still going to be able to go there. It's cool. Is the Tinker a new class? Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait till next. expansion.
It's hard
But
to...
I think that's the problem. It's like 8.2's taken so long to come along.
Yeah.
Kind of everyone's talked about everything.
That and
Guys, come on.
do you think that this is
8.2.
good for? I mean, the fact that the Classic is taking such a center stage right now in just the conversation around World of Warcraft, that's a... I don't know. I guess that's
intended.
is that what they
Yeah, I
want?
think
Okay, you think that's what
I
they
think
want?
so.
I think so.
I think
Yeah,
they didn't want to step on Classic's toes, and they didn't want Classic to step on its toes. So they're pacing things out.
And for us, man, like people that do WoW content, like if they can actually keep hitting this kind of in between of staggering, I don't know, whatever the hell we want to call it, BFA or just WoW retail, and then WoW Classic and staggering updates to both games, there's always going to be something to talk about. There's always going to be something quote unquote new to go experience.
Right.
The problem with right now is that it's a beta, it's invite only, that kind of thing. So, but once it's live and we start getting updates to Live Classic, and kind of slotting that in between with between 8.2 and 8.3, like that's going to be great.
Yeah.
If you enjoy playing both versions of the game.
Sure. I mean, it's a hell of a value if you're going to play both games. I don't know how you have the time, but if you're going to play both games at length, like go end game on both ends, like you got a lot of extra time on your hands. But
there'll be people out there who can. I'm not one of them.
I'm not one of them either, sadly.
Yeah, my goal is to have like one main max level tune in Classic that I kind of have, garaged. And when my friends all kind of get the hair to go and do stuff in Classic, I've got it ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And but obviously I'm gonna have to get there first.
We need a different kind of tank. Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
I'll be back in 4 months, guys. Yeah.
Hey, this is actually a good time to mention this. The website has been updated, theinstance.net. I think I mentioned it last week too, but I may as well say it again. If you're looking for episodes 1 through 139, I believe, are the ones that are not on the current RSS feed. Those are now collected in a big fat zip file and linked on the website. So if you're like, man, yeah, go ahead.
Is listening to those and finds the episode where you and Andrew talk about the opening of the gates of Encourage.
Yeah.
Hit me up. I want to know what episode it was because that is the first podcast I ever listened to. And I want to go back.
Ever of all time ever was your first podcast. I guarantee it's in there. It's in there. I just don't know what one it is. Yeah. It's probably episode like, I don't know, Encourage would have been probably 20 episodes in or maybe 15 or something is all. So it's there.
I don't remember, but that was the first podcast I ever freaking listened to, and I want to go re-listen to it because I bet it's absurd.
It's
to go listen to
it's probably the dumbest thing ever. I guarantee it. I don't even think I was level. I don't think I was at level then. I don't even think I was 60 yet. In that,
I got all this rune cloth. I don't know. The guy keeps asking for more. I'm like, I've given you a stack. Like, what is this? Yeah. I can see that.
It's weird. Anyway, there's that. Quick discussion before we move on. Do you guys think there's been a lot of polls going around about final boss in the game? I get another nod to the 8.2 and beyond. It's too easy to say just Sylvanas, I think. Or am I wrong?
No, I think it's... I want it to be N'Zoth because I want us to be killing N'Zoth this expansion. And then I want the next expansion to be Sylvanas focus, Wrath of Lich Queen-esque, sort of her, evil.
Yeah. Do you think that she's... Sorry, my thing glitched a little bit. Do you think that it's just... I mean, N'Zoth makes sense to me, but then tell me what you predict
It could
her...
go either two ways. Either we fight Sylvanas, or we fight N'Zoth.
Yeah.
They're queuing up a war chief change of hands, regardless. And so I don't know. It could be either we get Black Empire as the next thing, and the old gods are back, and we fight them, and it's a much more kind of Eldritch horror expansion, or we have a Rational Queen, Sylvanas have an undead army that we have to defeat. I don't know.
I think if Sylvanas becomes the Lich Queen, I think we need like an expansion off. I think she needs to go slumber, a la Arthas.
Yeah.
Let us forget about her for a bit. So why not have both?
Yep.
Yeah.
She should just sit in Bolvar's lap. I think that's where she should go.
My only issue with that is that then I think Sylvanas is the final boss, and it is just straight up Siege of Orgrimmar again, where we defeat her, but she doesn't die, and she runs off. And kills Bolvar or something. I don't know.
We can't fight her in Orgrimmar, though. I refuse.
You know, I've been saying that, man.
crime.
She can't.
Listen, since before BFA came out, I've been saying I can't just be Sylvanas sets the tree on fire. That's too obvious and boring. And it can't be Sylvanas is just the black and white villain of this expansion. That's too boring. And they've just been doing it like they're writers on Game of Thrones.
But guys, who has a better story than Sylvanas? Everyone. Everyone has a better story than Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they'll surprise us.
Like,
they'll surprise us maybe. Maybe in the end it'll be like, whoa, didn't see this coming. We thought you were just going to make her Garage 2.0, but this is different than we thought. I mean,
listen, it's probably Game of Thrones, but at this point I'm just like, it's going to be the obvious thing. She's just evil. We're just going to fight her, and that's how we'll end this expansion.
All right.
But what about the players who chose to support Sylvanas throughout her campaign? It's okay. They're fine. What?
I mean, they had
that scene at the end of Inglorious Bastards where they're like, I bet when this war is over, you're going to take those Forsaken colors off.
Yeah.
And then we just carve Sylvanas tear marks into their faces.
Yeah.
This is all true.
Yeah. It'd be pretty dark. I like it.
Yeah.
Chat room reminds us that...
I don't know. I think Black Empire would be a really fun expansion.
Yeah.
So, like, having Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron, even Yasiraj, come back in some sense. Like, N'Zoth brings them back. Or, it all rises up and we just get something cool. But I don't know. There's Talia, who's Bolvar's daughter, has kind of been introduced as a new character. It's like, oh, well, he never had a daughter. Yeah, but we need one for a story, so now he has one. And she was hanging out. Okay, cool. I'm on board. I believe it. And so it's like, oh, but she doesn't know that her dad. Well, no one knows. I was like, but we could all click the thing in Dalaran. It replayed the cinematic. I thought everyone knew. Don't tell anyone what happened here. Don't worry, we're just going to build a big fountain that will replay the memory to everyone. So I don't know if we're going to get something. Bolvar as the Lich King has been progressively getting more evil and losing more of his humanity. What humanity had left after the plague and the dragon's fire took it all from him. That potentially, again, there's something there. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Again, if we've got Tinker as a new class, where does that really fit in? Do we need to be somewhere involving some form of mech stuff? Or something, Black Empire might make sense in terms of, the engineers have been busy at it. How do we, fight these Eldritch beasts with machines? I don't know. It could. Who knows?
Tinker class sounds fun to me.
I'm still waiting for them to do anything with Kalia Menethil because the pre-expansion book was very
exactly.
She was a big player in it, and then we kick off the expansion and everyone's like, Kalia who? Huh? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that's why I don't know, again, with a lot of the kind of faction leaders, we're all friends now. I still think one day we could lose the Horde and Alliance distinctions. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, preach, brother, preach!
You could be on any faction. You just choose. Are you under Sylvanas? Are you under Anduin? And you pick.
Yeah.
Like that would be a really cool change. And again, if you don't like that, go play Classic.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I was gonna say that is a massive shift that would probably make Classic people be pissed, and they would just stay in Classic, which is fine.
But how do you get new people into WoW? What can you do to a 15-year-old game?
Yeah,
you can finally play with all of your friends, regardless of what faction they're on.
Right. But I think, there's other proof in the pudding going on right now. Old school RuneScape is very popular, more popular than whatever current RuneScape is or looks like.
Yeah.
And that's now on mobile of all things. Like that thing is crazy popular with a community that has been long dried up on, hey, we need new people. And if anything, maybe it has driven new people to it because now it's more accessible and more out there and available. So Blizzard's absolutely, like, a lot of people want to go, oh, this is just Blizzard kowtowing to those private server people who were so loud and obnoxious. This is just them doing that. And I would say that is reductive thinking. I think Blizzard knows that this is a potential driver of new subs or returning subs, whatever subs you want.
Or retaining subs.
And retaining subs, exactly.
They make more money off of Warcraft than any of their other properties, likely combined.
Mm-hmm.
And any investment in trying to give that audience more stuff and more value for their subscription is worthwhile to them.
Yep. Let me fish on my phone though. That's what I really want. We talked about it last
Tell
week.
me about it.
Yeah.
Why not? You
Yeah.
know, put some crypto miner on there. I don't care. You know, just let me do stuff like that. I want to have, you know, trade skills, mini games.
Yep.
I'd love that.
I mean, if it
Like,
affected
let
my.
me do those weird turtle quests, those world quests where I've got to, like, you know, match some turtles or like shoot some seagulls out the sky. I'm static. Let me do it on my phone. You know, phones can do those things now. You know, it's just tapping on stuff. I could, you know, rep up while I'm not playing the game.
Right.
You know, it keeps me invested. It keeps me playing. It keeps me talking about it. It stops me playing auto chess on my phone and being like, oh man, this is great. I don't need to play another game.
Right.
You know?
I'm all out of. Yeah, no more games for me. Zalex in the chat room says this. They did not. They did start adding original content to old school RuneScape though, and that's when it really took off. Originally, it was released as is, and interest dropped fast. Do you guys think WoW Classic could fall under the same? Yeah.
So, well, that's the thing that Brian Birmingham said. Well, maybe we'll see what the audience wants.
Yeah.
And Ian said, no, it won't. We won't do that. But then at the same time, maybe they will. You know, I don't quite know how you please all the people by introducing the Burning Crusade, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
You know, what do you do after 2 years of Classic? Do you introduce that, or do you make that a new server? Do you then copy characters over? How many servers are we on now? And what about my progression? Or I had this item in my bank. Oh, no, hang on, that was on this server, not on this character. The same character, but in this expansion. Or do I talk to a bronze dragon? And hey, welcome back. Here we are. We're now in Outland. You know, there's so many kind of issues they'd have to create answers for. The way old school got around this is they just let the player base decide. You need a 2/3 majority, and it goes in the game. So they're like, hey, guys, should we put the ability to put high-res models, player models in the game? And then everyone votes, and if it passes, they do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you didn't like that? Well, more of you than didn't do, so it's happening.
Yeah.
And that just allows them to kind of, you know, it's community-driven, and it just creates... But then again, talking at it from a Warcraft Classic perspective, how far removed is it from Warcraft and the classic experience of Warcraft if they then continue to deviate from what history was?
Yeah.
But again, Bronze Dragon, you can do anything. Just,
Yeah.
oh, look, it's Nosdormu. What's he doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, he's decided that Death Knight should be playable, an expansion early. Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
He also thinks Demon Hunters should be... We're going to put them both in. Oh, wow, crazy.
Yeah.
You know.
I could see them fiddling around with that. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I wish Classic was just a modern skin on top of the old systems, because I really just think it's just ugly. And I know that's what people want. They want the old thing. That's like, you don't want, you know, new Super Mario Brothers. You want Mario Brothers. I get it, but it's such an eyesore when the camera's flying over like the zones and like telling you the story about the origin of your people and everything. It's like, my gosh, it looks like 4 polygon trees and just a shitty, horrible distance thing. And I know it's better than it was.
The cheese.
When did you see the cheese? By the way, today's title is absolutely going to be Low Poly Cheese Slice.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna go wait till you see the cheese.
No, that's pretty good too. All right. Before we, go ahead, Garrett. Do you have something to add?
No, I got nothing else.
All right.
Never mind. Not important.
No worries. Well, here's the deal. Mike Morheim, we all know him, recently retired fully from Blizzard, will be honored at Game Lab Barcelona. Patrick, Terpster, you could go to that. You're not that far from Barcelona, from Spain.
Yeah, sure. I'll just pop over.
Sure.
You know, Mike and I are Facebook friends. I'm sure he won't mind.
It'd be fine. Just show up. He'll save you a seat up front.
Hey, Mike, you accepted my friend request. I came to Barcelona. I thought I'd be here for your big moment. Like, what a year it's been for esports. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Genuinely only says one thing.
It hasn't changed at all. The official Game Lab site released a press release today revealing that Blizzard co-founder Mike Morheim will receive the 2019 Honor Award at this thing in Spain.
Nice.
He will get the award for his successful career in gaming and his key role in the creation of some of the most groundbreaking and influential game universes of all time.
I love it.
Yeah.
I also like the fact he's getting an honor award, just like it feels very much from PvP Warcraft.
Yeah, here's some
It's
honor.
good. Like, they give him a badge. He trades it in at a vendor. He's now got some very niche bandages he can only apply in one area.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, he's going to enjoy that.
Got a black War Raptor instead of whatever fancy car he drives. That's great.
Wow, I don't know how many they're giving him. Wow, I mean, it's
intense.
He's going to have to win a few more awards, I fear. He can't just get it on his first time.
Gonna have to grind it. All right, well, there's that. Let's look at the rest of Blizzard. There's not a ton happening in a lot of the games. Overwatch is just sort of happening. People are playing it. The workshop's fun. I saw a game mode the other day. Somebody had scripted it so that your character changes every 5 seconds to a different character. So you're constantly phasing in and out of different characters. 1 minute you are Junkrat, the next minute you're whoever, freaking Soldier
Your ult
76.
carry over? Like your ult charge?
And your charge, yes, your charge does, but
cool.
you don't get a fresh. If you blow your charge and then immediately change to another guy, that'll start at 0. So yeah, I guess that answers your question. It does stay. It stays. That clock stays going no matter who you are. Now,
okay, cool.
it appeared that when you have it, some characters it regenerates faster. Like out of mech diva is going to regenerate faster than somebody else. So that seems to also apply, but. It's all scripting, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. But it was a riot to watch this. Like, people hooking somebody. By the time the hook brought them back, they were Reaper. Shoot them in the face, disappear, float someplace else. Now they're Tracer. It was a trip. So, a lot of weird stuff with that, and I highly recommend checking some of it out.
That's an Overwatch All-Stars I would enjoy to watch.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Right? Oh, my gosh, so much more fun than just an old, just a game. Who cares about that? I want to watch them, do something wacky. Hearthstone, Garrett, anything going on over there that's outside of what we talked about last week? People are liking the two single player things that are out and stuff.
Yeah, the new wing came out yesterday, so you can go clear the sewers of Dalaran. I did it this morning in 20 minutes because I got 6 Cthunes.
Whoa!
Oh, nice!
Holy shit!
Yeah, I just kept picking all the Cthulhu things, and I had all the things that buff my Cthunes. 2 of my Cthunes got the +4/4 buff, but they cost 2 more. And one of those, I got the other thing where it always starts in my opening hand, but I also had the Robes of Gaudiness, so they only cost 6 mana because everything only costs half. It was just broken. I had such a good time.
Wow, that's great. That sounds like
That's like. Ooh. Exciting.
I mean, look, I keep going to check, and then I go, it's not my game, and then I don't play it. But I always like hearing Garrett get excited.
It is really, really good, though. Holy moly. And
it's me and Overwatch, man. It's all right.
The modifiers, the anomalies that change each run make me pick a different class. Like I had one, then it was like all your spells cost 2 less or 1 less or something like that. I was like, sweet, go mage. I'm going to go spell heavy. You see and you lean into those changes, and you have it forces you to play the game differently with different characters, and you have more fun, more varied fun.
Yep.
They've done really, really well with it. It's
That's awesome.
Really impressive piece. Be interesting to see kind of next week, last bit. Do I still feel like, that's the downside of these modes being so good, is it's like, and they're done.
And you're done.
Whereas I want the game to continually be giving me things like this, which I guess is logistically impossible. It's just too much.
Well, it is a lot. I mean, surely they could go back and.
But if they, again, I'm talking like kind of $20 every month.
Yeah.
That's like a WoW sub. I'd happily pay it if I get every week getting new stuff like this.
Yeah.
That would be a way for Hearthstone to make as much money as Warcraft, if not more.
Ooh, what if Hearthstone had a $15 a month subscription, and you just got a certain number of card packs? You could buy more if you wanted, but you were always guaranteed this many. Be like an ESO Crown Plus
better than
service
average,
or whatever.
like an ESO Plus type thing. Yeah.
That seems like it'd be cool.
I'd be into that. You could get X amount of arena tickets for arena runs, and there's all kinds of things they could do with that.
That seems interesting. And then if there's a little piece of single player content that came with that, or that was semi-regular. I mean, it's a whole different business model for them, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but it seems like that would be cool.
Should get
we
one
just came up
golden.
with it, so we get what 20-30% of it.
20%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They should give away 1 golden pack a month with your sub.
I like it.
Bam.
That's pretty good. All right, take
That's
our
dust.
idea, run with it. Here's Where the Storms, pretty much the same as last week, although I will once again sing the praises of the Jaina changes. She's so much fun right now, and I played 2 or 3 games with her this week, and her Blizzard build is insane. Just absolutely worth your time if you're playing Heroes of the Storm.
Rexar is still the best hero in the game, and you can just carry and own face with him.
Wow. So how do you feel about Zagara these days? She used to be your favorite.
Inexplicably, she still has a really good win rate, but I don't get it. I feel like you're not bringing enough to the fight.
Yeah.
As Zagara,
Well,
which stinks because you're right. She's still like kit-wise my favorite hero.
Yep. If you had to smell all the characters, she'd be the stinkiest. That's my thinking.
Oh, I mean, Cho'Gall is a hero, Scott. Need I remind you?
Oh, that's true. So
We've
Stitch
got
is also.
Asmodan. Like, not only is Asmodan just got like the body sweat going on, but he comes from a world built of sulfur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, he's all
Plus,
lust
he's
and.
basically ass to mouth Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. He's not. Not one that I particularly enjoy.
I didn't realize that Asmodan was short for ass to mouth Odan.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's got a strategy, but don't believe his lies.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. Anyway, Heroes is still a very fun game, and despite what you've heard, it's fine. People should be playing it. Diablo 3. The only thing I have about Diablo I wanted to mention this week is Path of Exile came out with a big plan for their upcoming patches or their content. One of them is called a Mega expansion, and they say that is targeted directly at, and this is them saying it, Diablo 4, which is a weird thing to say out loud because there is no Diablo 4 yet that we know of. There's been no announcement. We know something's being worked on. But wow, Path of Exile getting out in front and calling it out by name and saying, yeah, that's going to be our D4 killer update to the game. So I don't know what that means, but it kind of got me excited because I like scrappy developers who are like all up in your face and, calling the fight out before it even happens. So that's just something I noticed.
I mean, where exactly? They're early.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing you shouldn't do with Blizzard is try and beat them to the punch.
Yeah.
Because you'd just be left waiting.
Yep.
Interesting.
I wouldn't. It's an interesting thing for them to say. I could see, you see companies all the time saying we're building the next generation action RPG to end them all. You can get real general and real proud, but for them to literally just call out Diablo 4, if it is even called that, was bold. Get some 10-cent money now. I guess they can be as bold as they want to be.
Yeah, I guess so. I know that David Brevik is his game It Lurks Below is now $20 on Steam. So he's they're called, the marketing's all like Diablo's creator. But obviously, they're made by teams. But he's been in dev for a while. People have been enjoying it.
It's just the 2D. It's a side-scrolly version of
It's like a Terraria, Minecrafty, but with some of the Diablo RPG kind of features to it.
I saw this. I didn't realize.
It's one of those things where
I didn't realize this was
think
out.
Diablo
Is it out?
fans may enjoy something like this.
Oh, I know I
it's very
will.
different.
I love this kind of shit. Oh yeah, this I'm
$20,
into it.
not bad.
Okay.
Early access though, so your mileage may vary. Hopefully they carry it on.
Yeah.
It's been doing well enough. I'm sure it will.
Oh yeah, look at all the loot popping out of that chest.
Yeah.
All right, I'm kind of into it. I'll have to check that out. All right, StarCraft. There's nothing going on. StarCraft is just StarCraft. Just kind of sitting there, not having anything happen to it. Except I guess I got that new commander last week or 2 weeks ago. But
yep, go play co-op, Scott. I promise you'll like it.
I know you keep telling me, man. I should do it. I don't know. Yeah, if you ask me which has me less jazzed, playing a
Hearthstone or StarCraft.
It's hard for me to pick because I'm RTS'd out. The Blizzard games I'm having the most fun with probably right now, at least while I'm in a bit of a WoW dip, is Overwatch and Heroes. And ironically, Heroes is backseated a little bit in general at Blizzard, and I'll play a little Diablo here and there. But really, I guess what I'm waiting for from this, hopefully this BlizzCon, is just something big from these guys, something big and new and big. Like Blizzard.
I think that's a guarantee. And
Yeah.
obviously manage your expectations. But there is no way Blizzard isn't coming out after last year's BlizzCon with the biggest BlizzCon we've ever experienced.
You think so?
They need to send a message now to be like, people who were already singing the death of Blizzard and Morheim's gone, it's all over, NetEase and Diablo Immortal, it's the end days. They need to shut them up over a 2-day period, and that is going to be BlizzCon 2019.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's going to be again, like I said, I'm managing my expectations here right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest, best BlizzCon of all time.
Jeez.
Yeah. I reckon Mexon's going to come up and he's going to do Geekiz 2.0. And,
well then, okay then.
that's it. Bam.
All right.
After that, it's like, wow. You know.
Can you believe that was 2010? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah.
All right.
And after you finished, I was like, is that it?
That was my first BlizzCon. I was so stoked. It didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't
first
matter.
time.
When it's your first one, it doesn't matter.
And it was
right,
good.
gentlemen.
And it was, you know, the thing is, you look back on it now and you'd be like, you know what, Chris, you were spitting some truths up there. Thank you.
Yeah.
But could you have told us about a new game as well?
Yeah. Why not? That would have been great.
So, you know, last year,
yeah.
opening ceremony.
Yeah.
I know you remember, T. I was sitting next to you.
Well, it doesn't
you know.
mean you can't remember it. If you remember, I was quite drunk at the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know, the whole opening ceremony goes by.
Yeah.
The final thing they bring out is Diablo Immortal, and it's over, and we're all like, really?
Yeah.
That's what you end on?
Yep.
So this year, you know, they have a big opening ceremony. Everything's good. We get a WoW expansion announcement. You know, maybe
As long as I get to
Diablo.
wave a glow stick and hold up something that makes Mike Morheim confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make this.
but
This is all
at the very
you.
end-
This is
Like,
all
I
you.
didn't do this.
What do you
Don't
mean?
put
What
this
did
on
I
me.
do?
This is- What
did I do?
What is this? What I do?
At the very end.
This. What is it? And we're just
You know,
like,
this year-
woo!
Oh, that's so
There's just
funny.
people looking through cards.
Yeah. It was really
Oh,
bad.
I think it said Mike or like thanks Mike or
Yeah, or, thanks.
THX.
Yeah, it was like a big.
It's just
How
like-
hard was it to get a shade of blue that had higher contrast?
Yeah, well, it had to be the Blizzard blue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Mike, if the
The
Pantone
Blizzard
is
blue
not
is
the
so
Blizzard
much
blue,
darker than that.
I
how
know.
can we thank him?
Yeah.
We're gonna thank him with what? Someone else's colors? No way. No way.
It was
Oh my
bad.
God.
Yeah.
It was bad. What did I do?
Yeah.
He kept
Whatever
saying,
was
"What did I do? What did I do?" He was like nervous. That he...
I just liked it. Again, equally, don't surprise him. You know, it's a huge stage. I get he's not the best actor, but you know, don't just just say, look, Mike, we're gonna call you out there. Jay's got this thing. It's gonna like have a message out in the crowd, just thanking you. Just obviously go out there, smile, thank him, and say, oh, the company's in great hands.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, I sorted this one.
Yeah, you
You're
either
gonna-
have
you're
to
gonna
have
love
you
it.
have to either guarantee that what he comes out and sees is a genuine surprise for him, and he can see what it is, acknowledge it as such, and then react accordingly, or you've
And he's
got
a
to
man,
tell him.
you know, known for his emotional reactions and outbursts. You know, he's not a stoic, very kind of, controlled man.
Right.
Oh wait, yeah.
He's in touch with his-
Yeah, I
his,
just think it's a weird thing. But anyway, like I said, I think that the compound effect of last year's BlizzCon being such a kind of but actually being there as well. Like I played Immortal, I liked it. I liked the event. The whole weekend was great. I feel like this one is going to transcend the being there emotion. I think
Okay.
everyone's going to be hyped.
All right, I'm excited too. We'll see how it goes this year. No, I really am. I'm stoked. Unless it's not just all Hearthstone. No, I'm just kidding. Hearthstone's fine.
Yeah,
I
it's what
just,
it's, they're announcing a Hearthstone single subscription where you just get new single player modes every week.
Thank goodness,
Yeah.
because I've been asking for that for too long. All right,
Yeah.
before we get out of here, I do want to point out a quick thing. We have this thing now on the site at theinstance.net that is our support program. Now, one of the levels has this custom instance art card with art on the back from Garrett, which is this rad design, very Hearthstone-esque. And then on the back is artwork for me, original artwork. This is an orc, just happens to be, get some Alliance stuff coming, and it tells you what month that you're getting it, and it's collectible, and it's the only way you can get this thing. This is just one of those levels. There's lots of them there, and they'll fit all kinds of different budgets. So if you like the show and you want to support it, head on over to theinstance.net and click that link, and you're all set. It's all homegrown. We're doing it ourselves. We're not relying on some third party. It's just us. We're doing all the work, and we're happy to do it. But we need your support. Thanks to everybody who already has. We really appreciate it. That's at theinstance.net. Okay. Before we get out of here, Garrett, anything going on in your direction that we should be aware of?
There's always shows over at emove.tv. You want to hear a lot more about Hearthstone? We got the Angry Chicken. He's still playing Heroes of the Storm. Into the Nexus is still going strong. Actually, download numbers are going up. It's kind of blowing my mind over
Yeah.
on the Heroes show.
Weird.
And a brand new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars just got posted with me and Tom Merritt. Jenny Josephson's been out, sadly, but she'll be coming back. So that show's weekly now. So go subscribe to Let's Talk About Star Wars.
Nice. Still Star
and
Wars.
The Angry Chicken was on the launcher.
Oh yeah, well
week,
done, by the way.
yeah.
That
Oh
was
yeah,
awesome.
you know that
cool.
that old thing.
That was really cool.
That was dope. Yeah,
that was super
That was
dope.
That was really cool. Please go watch that video because it was so much work. I actually can't describe what a monkey wrench it threw in my week last week.
Yeah, it sounded like I could tell from afar that it was a stress, but it turned out.
Last week was horrible, and actually that video was a big reason why.
Yeah, it was a rough week. I know how
They're
it
like,
goes.
hey, you want to make a video? I'm like, oh my god, yes, that would be amazing. They're like, all right, we need it by Friday morning, and by the way, you can't play the thing until Thursday middle of the day. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yep, that's a very.
You got any assets? Nope.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was a lot of work, and only 3,000 of you have watched it. So please go watch it.
Yeah, go watch
Do
it.
it.
If you like the Hearthstone, go do it. Terpster, anything you're doing this week that people should watch and do and see?
Oh, well, you can't watch it, but I'm gonna have a barbecue tomorrow, and I am excited.
Yeah.
I'm already salivating. I shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
I set the train in motion now, Scott.
Yeah.
I gotta wait.
All you got to say is beefa, and you get
I got
hungry.
beefer. I'm gonna have some ribeye, some beefer. I'm gonna have some sausages. These are all future WoW expansions, so please, guys, keep it under your hats and act surprised when they announce them at BlizzCon. Don't do a Morheim. What is this? What
did I do?
You know, WoW sausage is gonna be great.
Yeah,
It's
I'm looking
gonna be
forward to
really
it.
good.
Well, that'd be awesome. Have a fantastic time doing that. The rest of y'all listening also have a great time. If you're looking for more shows like this show, you can find it at theinstance.net. You can find us on Twitter, Instance Show, _T for Terpster. I'm at Scott Johnson. Patrick's out this week, but you can still follow him at Not Patrick. And, of course, Garrett Art for Garrett Weinzerl. Also, more shows like this at Frog Pants. I think I already said that. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye now. Well done. Well done indeed.
Well done.
Yes, well done, hero.
Well met. Yeah.
That was great. So, chat, we're going to... Terpstar, I guess, if you want to do this, you can. If you don't, I understand because you're in a weird time zone, but we have to do a monthly 30-minute quickie thing for people who support us on this new support thing. So we're gonna do that now, but I forgot to tell you about it. So if
That's fine. I have to leave.
If you have to leave,
but
it's totally
otherwise I
fine.
would do it. Sorry.
It's totally fine.
Sorry,
I'll give you a
everyone.
better warning next time, and
Scott
you can
will
be
give me
here.
a better warning than, oh, yeah, we're about to do fuck. Yeah, it's extra 30 minutes. It's like,
Yeah, I totally forgot.
but yeah, I can do if I know.
Yeah, I'll let you
so
know
next
well in
time-
advance next time.
next time
Plus,
I'll do it.
plus we can do different times. It doesn't always have to be right after.
That's
the show,
fine.
so-
No, it would be easier just staying on half hour if I know.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Well, thank you, everyone.
Yeah. My best to the
thank you.
girls. Have fun. We'll see you later. Okay, he's out. He can no longer say words.
I will be right back.
Yeah, you go do your thing.